all and welcome to video classes by Konnur Institutes. Today we will be discussing the shapes of curves which relates to the total product, marginal product and the average product. Okay. So in the previous class we were studied what is meant by total product, what actually is marginal product. Right. So with that better understanding, we will be able to assess or we will be able to analyze the further laws which are related to with this total product, marginal product and the average product. So and in the last class we also discussed what is a law of variable proportion, right? So what is variable proportion? What that law tells us? It tells us as we go on increasing the inputs, keeping in mind the other inputs are constant, right? So here our variable input was labor, right? Keeping the capital as a fixed. What happens in this law of variable proportion? As you go on increasing the units of input, we get output increased. Yes, but at a certain level of employment, what happens? There will be a gradual decrease in the output. So that's what it tells about us, about the law of variable proportion. So in this class, today we will be understanding the shapes of the total product, marginal product and the average product. So how these shapes tells us, what kind of shape tells us what is the relationship between the total product, marginal product and the average product. So if you see this graph, that by seeing that graph you will be able to analyze what actually the graph is telling, what actually these lines or these curves are having the relationship between the marginal product and the average product. So on the horizontal axis we have labor, we have taken labor on the x-axis, and on the y-axis or the vertical axis we have taken output as the variable here, okay. So see, you can see this MP is the marginal product and AP is the average product. What actually is AP? AP is nothing but the average of the marginal product, right? So AP is being calculated on the basis of the marginal product's average. So this is the line or this is the point or this is the curve wherein we can able to understand the relationship between this MP and the AP. So you can see that as you go on increasing 1 unit of a labor, you will get the output increased. You can see here, right? Here is the point wherein the labor is here and the output is at this point, okay? This is an imaginary figure, okay? As the labor has been increased to this point, you can see even there is an increase in the output from this point to this point. And here also you can see that the labor unit has been increased, right? So this, when you have increased the inputs, keeping other inputs as a constant, when you have increased the labor 1 unit, then what happens? Here the output is also being increased, right? So as you go on increasing the labor, there will be also a gradual increase in the output. But at a certain point, okay, at a certain point what happens is it starts declining, okay? Even though we are increasing the labor, but we are not able to achieve the output as we have expected. So every MP or AP has this same effect. So that's the reason we call it as law of variable proportion. Same way you can also see that MP is always the average, AP is always the average of the MP, right? So if you have seen there is an increase and there is a decrease as we have changed the inputs, which is the labor, you can also see that the AP is also increasing at a certain level, certain portion or certain ratio, and See, both are equal. Okay, and here you can see that MP is lesser than the AP. So these are the three what we can say, three important points of this law. This all about tells us here MP is greater than AP. Okay, you can see here. At this point, MP is equal to AP, and here MP is smaller than AP. So these are the three main important points of this law of variable proportion. So here you can see that this curve is also in the shape of U. Okay, as you go on extend these two lines, it becomes the U in shape, right? Here also you can see that the line of MP, the curve of the MP is also in U shape. So you can say that the law of variable proportion has inverse U-shaped curves. Okay, this is inverse U-shape. This is U-shape. So we have reversed it. So we have inversed that. You can see that this AP curve is also inversely U-shaped, and also MP is also universally M-shaped. So that tells us about the shapes of total product MP and the AP. See, this total product is also where you can see that this is the point where we can see that the firm has maximum output capacity which a firm can produce. That tells, and this is the point at which the AP and the MP always falls, even if you have increased the input. So that's all about these shapes of the curves. You can see there is, when we have, this is the point where we can point it as L. Okay. See, if you have seen towards the left side, okay, this becomes the left side of L, and this becomes the right side of L. When you are analyzing this picture or this graph, you can say that to the left of L, you can see that MP is larger than the AP. Okay. These 2 points are the points wherein both have started at the same point. Okay. As MP increases, there will be always increase in the AP, but the proportion will be not as much as MP, but there will be increase. Both will be in the increasing order. And towards the right of this L, you can see that AP is greater but MP is smaller. That's the reason MP is smaller than the AP. But at this point, you can see both have been intersecting. The AP curve is being intersected by MP curve, right? This AP curve is being intersected by MP curve. This is the point at which you can understand that MP is equal to AP. So these are the three important points or three important equations where you can understand the relationship between the marginal product and the average product. So this is all about the shapes of the total product, marginal product and the average product. So what are, if anybody asks you what are the features of the shapes of the marginal product or the average product, then you can say that it is universally U in shape. You can see that it's U in shape, right? And you can also explain the relationship between the AP and the MP. Okay? So as it always depends on keeping in mind here only one variable, one input, one variable as a changing and keeping other inputs as a fixed. So here the variable which is not fixed is the labor. Okay, so this is all about the shapes, how we understand on seeing the graph of or seeing the curves of the MP, AP and the TP. In the next class, we will be discussing returns to scale. See you all in the next video.